Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. This week's guest is James Gebhardt, a very interesting guy. He has a very cool concept on what he wants to do. It is a product called myartkit.com. And when I got down to talking to him, I really liked the concept of his idea. I really like that he's going with his idea, and I really like where his idea is at this point. He still wants to do a lot of things, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes. Very cool concept on keeping memories and preserving memories and how you preserve memories. And I really enjoyed talking to him. He was a really fun guy to talk to. Very good podcast, very good conversation in general. I absolutely enjoyed talking to him. I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I will see you on the next one.
Come away for a year and a day to a place where the sand meets the sea. For your worries, they will fade.
So we've been recording here for a little bit, and about a minute, and I just want to thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I always like talking about what I do.
Yeah, I'm really interested into getting into what you guys do and how you formed it. And take me back to the beginning on what was your first thought on creating the company, and what was the inspiration behind it?
Are we recording now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought we were getting ready to do it. Okay. It all gets back to the big main one was, I think when my daughter was about 2.5, she had what they call a ventricular septal defect. She had a hole in her heart. And I remembered she had to go in for open heart surgery. It was almost an elective surgery. She's been great ever since.
What do you mean by elective surgery?
The condition would not kill her, basically, but it would affect her growing up.
Okay.
And because at that time she was getting pneumonia a lot and getting sick, and she said, well, she's going to grow out of it, maybe close up a little bit, but they're still going to have problems. And so she was very young, and she actually doesn't really even remember the surgery. She remembers the playroom. And anyway, so I took a camcorder and we recorded her, kind of to have, if anything happened, we were going to have memories of her. So we had that, and then about 96 or 97, I sat my dad down when we did a road trip back to Iowa, and I asked him about his childhood. He was a paper boy for like 30 years, I think, and he was drafted into the Korean War. Some of his experiences over in Japan during the Korean War, he was in the motor pool. And then, little things like a gallon of milk. Where was he when he heard about the atomic bomb in Hiroshima or Nagasaki? Going, little things like that. Pearl Harbor. I mean, big times and events in your life. And then a couple years after that, he passed away. But now I had memories. Now I had these memories, and he's like, okay, gosh, what do you do with them? So it's technology back then. You burn a DVD. So now I had a nice little movie and stuff with my dad. But then you get on to and then what? Now 10 years pass. Where's that DVD at? I think it's over here somewhere, somewhere.
I've lost plenty of DVDs over the time.
Yes. Burn them, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, where's that DVD? I couldn't find it, so I had to burn another one. But now you're like 2 or 3 computers down the road, and some of the old technology has to catch up, and you're trying to piece all this stuff back together. So I was able to get everything pieced back together. But at that time too, I had the old family photo album that was actually saved from the garbage when they were cleaning his stuff out back when he passed away. It was like somebody just happened to say, big thick family photo album. And so here you are, I'm sitting there with memories and all this stuff, and it's kind of like, well, what do you do with it? How am I going to pass this down to my kids? And how am I got grandkids now, how are they going to get some of these? You just pass down some pictures and some photos, and you tell them a story. My kids have no idea what my dad they would have no idea what my dad would sound like or some of his stories unless I had it on video. And then it just kind of, just sitting back one day in the work van, I always say I was eating a ham sandwich, sitting back having a ham sandwich, trying to like, what can because now technology is getting a little bit better. Now we're getting in the late 90s, into 2000s stuff. Now we got the internet, and things are kind of not overly fast internet, but we're getting the internet.
Yeah, Windows
And
95 took a long time to boot up.
oh boy,
Yeah.
Windows 9. I remember back when I was your age. Being from the Seattle area, I always had these places over by Boeing and stuff. They always had 16 zillion different spare parts, and we put together like everything an old 386 with Windows 3.0 with I think it was a blazing 3 megabytes of RAM or something,
Oh,
just
wow.
enough to run the operating system.
Lightning
And we
speed
thought,
back then.
oh my god! And then we had dial-up. It was like a
AOL.
5 point something dial-up. I don't even think. Well, AOL was still in the makings, I think.
Yeah, it didn't come out till a little later, I think, or probably.
Yeah, well, they had the old cathode ray green screens that used to burn in, and we had this old big huge box and this old screen. And my guy I was working with, hey, I gotta watch this, and he was sending an email of like a one-liner over to somebody else, and we just thought that was amazing. You don't have to put it in, you don't have to make a letter, mail it, boom. They now have your message now at some other place, and it's like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, electronic mails.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now you get so much of it, you kind of go,
Yeah, now it's all junk and spam folders.
oh yeah, and you don't even realize it's like, how do I get the spam? What did I touch?
Yeah, like, was my phone listening and it just signed me up for something?
Oh,
All right. Oh, government's watching.
You go into one thing, yeah, you're looking for potholders or something,
Yeah, it comes up on
And
your
all of a
feed the
sudden-
next day.
Exactly, it goes
Yeah.
all over the places, here and there. It's just like because they all interact because that's
Yeah.
how commerce is made with those guys. They want to sell you something, of course. And then, so I just started coming up with the idea of how to archive, because now we live our lives digitally.
Mm-hmm.
My kids grew up, and my daughter was just barely getting into some film cameras when she was in high school, but now everything is digital. And I used to be a photographer back when, and I remembered everything was film, Kodak. Nobody ever really knows what Kodak is anymore. What's Kodak? Well, Kodak was pretty big
Yeah.
25 years ago. Well, 50 years ago. And then then technology started getting a little bit better, and how websites were going on. And so I kind of put together the idea, put together a kind of a mock-up of what the possibilities were. Then I tried to get some people interested in it, but it was such a new idea, probably 3 or 4 years later, it's just like, hey, it's a great idea, but never really anybody wanting to invest because it was still unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, about 2 years ago, I took the bite and took some equity out of the land. We own a couple acres, and decided to go ahead and have it programmed. Have the first, I should call it phase 1, programmed up, working, which is MyArkit, the lifetime accounts.
Did you have to reach out to somebody to help program this, or did you program it yourself?
Oh no, I program. That would be terrible. No, I got. I wish Dave. Dave works with. He's an IT programmer out of Gig Harbor, which is just about. Actually, I found it in my neighborhood basically, and he actually worked with Disney.
Oh, really?
Programming some websites and stuff for Disney. So he was very knowledgeable how to program, and he basically he works with people that are the main. I call them super nerds.
Mm-hmm.
That are the programmers. So he knows what to do, and he kind of we need to program this back end, that back end, how to do this, we got to work with AWS, Amazon Web Service, and Amazon Web Services, and he knows all that kind of stuff. If he starts talking about it, my eyes just kind of glaze over.
Yeah, like what are you talking about? Like,
yeah,
I've taken a few HTML courses, and I did a blockchain boot camp, and it's still just like blows the mind.
Oh yeah, then now you get into AI where you're going to say,
yeah,
do this and do that, and I want this to do that, and all of a sudden that function will be programmed.
Even or is it GBT or GPT, something like even that thing could probably program a website for you.
Yeah, so we're in a good spot right now where we have a lot of the good basics down, and we're going to expand into some more services and things like that. But
What are you
You know,
looking to
we start.
expand into?
Oh, we got well, our first service is MyArkit at myarkit.com, which is the main service there is a lifetime account.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you buy in and you get 10 gigabytes of memory, where we basically archive your memories.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where a person, as an example, you take a picture of whatever, and then basically you take that, you put it on your lifetime account. What we also have the capability of doing is you can actually add an audio story to that picture.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just went bonkers with telling about my first car, this or that. The first time I went to Star Wars, and you have a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The concert that never was with Led Zeppelin, things like that. So those are fun to hear the stories, hear the emotions, hear what, instead of just typing something in. This is what I did with blah blah blah. So we can actually put a really good emotion story to pictures, and we have people. You can upload one memory at a time. You put a good memory to it, and then you archive it or you arc it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the 10 gigabytes. If you need more space, you just buy more space.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of the other, we have another service where you can do a memorial account, which is a lot smaller because you don't need the full 10 gigabytes.
Mm-hmm.
Or we also have a service called Events, to where it works on the same premises of 10 gigabytes. But let's say you're going to a wedding,
Mm-hmm.
or you're having a wedding, you're getting married, pretty big event in your life.
One of the biggest, I hear.
Yeah, well, in half the world, yeah. and so you buy that event, and then you send out your invitations, and they'll have like a little QR code to it or an email address, and your participants go to that, and all they do is they put their name and an email, where they sign up. Basically, it's like a view only participant of that event. So now everybody's sitting around there taking pictures and having a good time, and now they can upload everything into that event and tell, their emotions, their stories about the event. Everybody gets to participate in the event.
Okay.
And then even the people buying the event, I see so much stuff online where people show their wedding rings and stuff when they get engaged. It's just like, what's the story? Why didn't you propose there? You can tell the whole story behind how you met, your first date. All these things never gets put into a wedding folder, because it's just like, you see the pretty pictures. Oh, that's nice. Oh, what a cake. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
But this you get to go on the event from all the participants, and you go all the way back, and you can even keep going forward to your first anniversary, your 10th anniversary. You keep adding to the event if you want to.
Mm-hmm. So
you can do that.
So it's
do
not
it like a. I'm sorry.
So it's not just a one-stop thing. You can keep, let's just say 5 years down the road, you have your 5th year wedding anniversary. They can keep adding on to it. Like, hey, 5 years now, we want to update everybody.
Right. Say you have a big party for your 5 year or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can pause the event and then start it up again. And you can also have the administrators, which is usually the people that buy the event. They get to choose what people see, because you don't always want people sending everything in. You don't want to see Uncle Charlie with the, how Uncle Charlie is.
Mm-hmm.
But so you get to moderate the event. And it also works great for like yearbooks and things like that with high school or college, where you get to have your group of friends grabbing the best time of your lives, grabbing all those memories, and that becomes an event. And you can add to that years down the road.
Mm-hmm.
People that go to Sturgis and things like that, year after year after year after year, whatever. Just get a hold of some friends, and you have this big event, and everybody can, put into it year after year. And if it gets to 10 gigabytes, you add more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what was the first, when was your first day of launching this thing, and how did you feel about it?
Oh, it was a couple years ago. It was, you're nervous because you always want it to go good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the realization, we come to the realization where when people get to know what we're doing, the light bulb goes on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but at the same time, you can't really make a 10-second, 15-second commercial on what we do, because people don't understand what we do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand the aspect of passing something on from generation to generation, or the aspect of, if you're into a a cloud account like Google or Apple or something like that, if you don't touch your stuff for a certain amount of time, 180 days to 2 years or so, they can go click and you're deleted. Everything you have there could be deleted. I had a friend of mine, a cousin, that had his profile hijacked on Facebook. Lost everything. Everything he had on there, he lost it. He said he had to totally start over again.
Oh yeah, getting Facebook hacks, getting Facebook account hacks and Instagram account hacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to make it as bulletproof as possible. Besides our normal IP provider, we're also going to back up through Amazon Web Services, which is the largest internet provider of their services. And then after that, we're also going to triple back up through Iron Mountain, which is a worldwide service also that backs up data information for banks. Like 95% of the Fortune 1000 companies uses Iron Mountain. So we're going to go back up.
Yeah. So when you started this, did you have an idea of how many gigs you wanted to rent out? Or let's just say, how many gigs did you have to purchase to launch this thing? To say, okay, everybody gets 10 gigs.
Everybody gets 10 gigs. Yeah, everybody gets 10 gigabytes. You really don't just automatically buy the 10 gigabytes. It's used as with the people you're storing it with. It's any of those big places like that. You're billed out by how much you upload and download. So you might have 100 people sign up, but they're not using that much. But we also look at it for being 50 years, 25 years, or whatever down the road. You might have people looking at that still. Yeah. So it didn't really cost a lot to get it programmed and put it in there or to buy it, but we also look at way into the future. What's it going to be when we have terabytes worth of information that we have to store?
So do you have a team running this thing, or like how often do you have to get involved with it?
Oh, I don't get involved in that part. Dave and the IT guys, they do all that kind of stuff. If we have a glitch, it's just, you get a hold of the IT guys and they, fix a glitch here, fix a glitch there. And mainly glitches we get are with the browsers. I found I kept getting a glitch here and there until they finally said, just use Chrome. 65% of the browsers out there use Chrome. So we're going to make most of our modifications to really be bulletproof with Chrome. And I rarely get a glitch. I used to get glitches every once in a while. I'm a big Mac lover, and I used to get glitches once in a while for the weirdest little things off of Safari.
Yeah, a lot of
really proprietary.
Yeah, a lot of services that I would get into, it would be go through Chrome. You're not going to have a problem. Like the emails would straight say it. Like, okay, I'm going to go through Chrome.
Yeah, we just try to use the best we can. And, like I said, we were using with Amazon Web Services or Iron Mountain. When we start using those guys, it's just going to be, oh, I was hacked. Doesn't matter. 2 or 3 streams down, you still got your information. It's covered. Don't worry about it.
So if someone uploads to this thing, can they say, hey, if you want to see what's going on, here's my login? How do multiple people get into and contribute to a 10 gigabyte account?
You buy your lifetime account, which is 10 gigabytes. That's yours. You buy it once, or you can pay $10.95 a month for a year, and then it's yours. We don't want to have somebody having this monthly thing going on for years and years, because somebody might pass away at any time. And then basically a person, we have a thing where you sign up for a 30-day free trial, and we don't take any bank information. You can try it out, throw some stuff in there, have some fun, put some stuff in there. And if you don't elevate it to a lifetime account, a full lifetime account, it changes over to what they call a view-only account.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't have all the functions of uploading and downloading, but it has the function of being able to be, going over to Uncle Charlie again. He said, you can go over to his account if you were invited to see his account. It's a very private thing. You can't.
So you have to get invited.
You have to get invited.
Okay.
You don't want everybody just going anywhere. Yeah. But when the people are there, you have to be invited. Then you can go over to see their account, and that's what they call a view-only account.
Okay.
It's great for families because you don't have to worry about, likes or dislikes or comments and things like that. It's just like I have a folder where I made a folder up of my brother when he passed away,
Mm-hmm.
and now my grandkids can see Uncle Al, and they just go into my mom's account and boom into his folder, and they can see, because they're like able to see it.
Mm-hmm. So, how would I go about getting invited? Like, let's say I set up an account and I say, or inviting someone. Uh, I set up an account and I want to share it with my girlfriend, for example.
Okay,
What do I have to do to get her invited in?
you go to the people section,
Okay.
and in the people section you say invite uh, Sally. And if you click on it, it basically first searches for her exact name and stuff that she has on My Arcade. If she's not in there, it'll say not found. And then basically you just take her email address and you stick it down into invite, and then you send that out, and she gets an email invite.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
then, yeah, right. And then from there, she can take the invite and do a free account. Or if she's already in My Arcade, it's just she accepts the invite.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty
Um,
simple. Accept the invites back and forth, and boom, you guys are set.
nice. Nice. So, right now, how many subscribers do you say you have?
Oh, we still got under 100.
Oh, nice.
We're still, it's it's kind of an interesting conundrum, I guess you could call it, where I've been on multiple podcasts. We have great enthusiasm, but we're still working with human nature to save human nature,
Mm-hmm.
to where a lot of people don't really overly trust social media for what we're doing, because it becomes very personal for what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I give the example of a guy I was talking with one time. It's like when you ask somebody out on a date, it's like, hey, would you like to go out, for a drink? And somebody, oh, okay. It's almost like when you're going to buy a different product, you go, I'll try that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you buy our product, it's like asking somebody to marry you.
Mm-hmm.
So they're there for life.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like we're getting a lot of this. I call it a bubble built up, and it's building and building and building, where a lot of people know what we're doing, and more clicking in people's brains going, I wish I would have been able to do that. I need to do that because my mom's getting older, my dad's getting older, things like that. I need to sit them down and get some stories from them. What am I going to do with it? Oh, I remember My Arcade.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do any of your family, like, do you have any accounts on there that you would like to talk about?
Oh, I just got my one daughter's account with her two kids, grandkids on there. I made a full lifetime account for my mom because she had a lot of videos and stuff I did of her, but she passed away, oh gosh, about 3 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
My brother didn't have a lot of stuff on him, so I just made a folder within my mom's account for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then my dad, I made a little 2 GB memorial account for him. I threw a bunch of stuff in for him. And then I
Mm-hmm.
also have I did an events account for the family photo albums.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of pictures on there of the old pictures of the family photo albums, and I have cousins and stuff like that, or administrators also that can go in there and put information to who is this person from 1895. I have no idea, and they'll put that in there. That's Joe's blah 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 something from so a whole family can share a family photo album.
Mm-hmm.
So that's you kind of let your imagination run wild on what you can do with an event folder.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of events.
Even things like imagine building a house,
Mm.
or like a big building or something that that's historic type of thing, historic event or something like that. Go into the Super Bowl, maybe you'd have 100 people go to the Super Bowl or something like that, and it all comes into one event, and everybody's doing their own little things and their own pictures and their own stories and stuff like that. It becomes a really cool event to share.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think can set you apart from the services you see out there today? Like just any cloud storage. What do you think is the one thing that's going to set you apart?
Two things that set us apart are going to be, you're not going to be deleted, censored, or lost.
Mm-hmm. And censorship
So,
is a really big thing today.
right.
So I really like the fact that there is no censorship.
Right, because we feel, because you also buy your storage space. It is yours. You have a certain amount of legality to it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not coming in there censoring you. Now you can still be censored, because if you're putting something that's out there to the public type of thing that can go into it, then you could run the, with the Federal Trade Commission or federal FCC. Well, I forget what that is now. Federal Communication FCC. Yeah, you can still run amok of them, but it's on your dime because you bought the space.
I do have a question about that. Was it a giant pain to go through them to get, like, did you have to go through them to get this authorized?
No.
No.
No. It's just like it would be like you going in and creating your own website. We're kind of almost like the middleman, and you're creating your website that's going to go out to other people, except you don't have the cost of a website, because that can cost you at the minimum probably $20 to $50 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not around to keep care of it, it's going to go away.
Mm-hmm. And what was the second thing that was going to set you guys apart? That is going to set you guys apart.
One of the big ones I like is putting audio memories to your uploads.
Now, uploads, do you mean like photos?
Correct.
Okay.
You can do an audio to a story. You can type in a story. We have a thing what we call the Daily Scribe, where you can just almost like a diary, or you can do an audio diary, almost like Star Trek. Star date such and such. You can do that if you wanted to. You can do little short videos. We do max out the videos at 10 minutes because of bandwidth and stuff. And we figured in 10 minutes, you better get, whatever question you're kind of asking there, you'll get it down to 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Audio, you can go audio longer than that. Sometimes I ramble on about, cars or whatever. And the big thing there is, if you're looking at all the other media out there, you just don't really you can throw stuff up into a cloud, huge amounts up into the cloud, but it doesn't really mean anything to anybody else, unless you have some meaning and some story behind it. And the audio works really great for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of any other cloud storage. They'll do video, but they won't do an audio or attach it to something.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but I don't know of one.
Mm-hmm. I think what I like too about MyArkit is that sitting here, and with it being such a private company, you upload to Google Cloud or Apple Cloud or whatever cloud you want, it could crash the next day. And what I like about it, your service, is that it's always going to be there. You know what I mean?
We actually want to make it I guess you could say our business model is we want to get enough people in there, and that brings in enough money to where that money gets put aside into what we call the principal investment group.
Mm-hmm.
I call it the pig. And what that does basically is, like, you have extra money, it sits there and works to where you're creating, you're investing, you're doing stuff to where that is actually becoming a huge nest egg that basically feeds the growing MyArkit community.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it can self-feed itself through just investment and interest.
Mm-hmm.
Because
So
we don't really have a lot of, in the long run, overhead, because we don't really produce a lot. Everybody that puts stuff in there produces a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you want to make sure that's nice, safe, and secure too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So looking back now, when you started this, how do you feel about it being what it is today?
Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone from inception to where then you have all the little tweaks and stuff. We first got into it, and the sweetest little old lady I think she was moving over to Europe, and she's putting all of her information in there, and she's going to keep, and I wish I could do this. Well, we programmed it in. I wish I could do that. Well, then we programmed it in. So we try to evolve and make it better and better and better. And I have a lot of other ideas. Like, we're going to have a subcategory called Lifesaver U. Instead of having just a regular click on and you hit the help button and it gives you some information, it's going to go to a whole other website connected to MyArkit that's going to go through a whole bunch of stuff that can be anything from material legacy. We got one part on the soul train, looking for your spiritual legacy, digital legacy.
What do you mean material legacy?
Spiritual.
Okay. I thought I heard
soul
material.
Cereal?
No, like clothes or something, or T-shirts.
Well, well, that's material legacy. That I've
Yeah,
talked to people on.
that's what I thought I heard.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the part of it's going to be material legacy too, to where a lot of that stuff's going to be links and podcasts and stuff like that, where we have if a person goes there, they're getting information on how can I give some of my stuff I have to my kids or my grandkids without getting zapped with all the different taxes and stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
little things like that. Of course, we would deal with the digital legacy, and then we have other people dealing with end of life situations, to where I had a guy that had stage 4 lung cancer for about a year or so and stuff like that, where how people deal with that, how to have a good attitude, things like that. So we're going to try to deal with that as much as we possibly can.
Mm-hmm. So you kind of want to set it up like a documentary thing?
And a huge help site.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
A huge help site where a person can go to that, and just they're kind of linking, and they're getting ideas on how maybe this will help, that'll help, and like it just a helpful site. And people would, as they're cruising through, how do I do this? How do I do that? Some people don't know. If you do your phone, I love doing my phone. I'm recording stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they got this little gadget you can stick on the bottom of your phone, and you put a little audio clip microphone on your lapel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can sit your phone on the table and be saying something. You got perfect audio. You don't have to have it right here.
Yeah.
Right next to your face. Little things like that. Little helpful hints and tips and things like that. They'll help people do things digitally, but at the same time, maybe somebody's mother passed away or things like that. How to deal with hospice. Stories on. There's a lot of different websites all over the place. We're just kind of trying to combine it or consolidate it into one area that kind of like you can jump off and find information.
And like real life experience too.
Exactly. Oh, I want to definitely love real life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one thing I did think of just the other day, I'll give you a sneak preview on that, is the Art Cafe. And that would be where a lot of people that put stuff into my arcade they might be writers, photographers,
Mm-hmm.
poets, things like that. And I would love to be able to have the capability of somebody that maybe has some photography and stuff when they're uploading it, when you arc it, click a little button saying you can use it in the Art Cafe. So you go to some place.
Oh, okay.
All right. So instead of, these are people's best of their lives of what they're doing.
Okay.
And you just kind of go there, and you might just be scrolling through for the day or however we're going to do it, type of thing, where you're getting stuff from people, just plain old people, nobody that's, published or maybe probably, whatever, but just getting the regular person's life and the best of.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
Get a lot of people out there to help others,
Oh, I'd be able to see some really cool, like I see some cool stuff all the time from, you get on Facebook or some other stuff where somebody might have a good picture, but then it's like, okay, what's the story behind that one? Maybe you can get a good story on something, or somebody might have a really good uplifting story of a real good friend of mine went through Alcoholics Anonymous, 10, 15 years ago. And she's become a mentor to, probably 24 women to help them out. And she's got some really good stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be a great service for her. Get her story out. Yeah.
Instead of sitting down going through a lot of the brain-numbing stuff you get on, Twitter or Instagram. Yeah, I like going through that stuff, but you got to feed through about 90% of it till you get to some funny stuff or some relevant stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This will be kind of like the
short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Get some really nice stuff on there. You can kind of laugh, cry, see some pretty pictures, type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right from the people that are putting it in there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's a sneak preview.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. So, where do you see My Arcade going in the next 5 to 10 years?
My dream is North and South America, at least starting with North America. I want to get 1% of the population to sign up and start saving memories.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I want to move it south, and also Europe. And I'm doing a podcast Sunday night from Nigeria.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So like I said, internet's getting around all over the place.
It
And
is.
so I always say if I can conquer 1% of even America or even North America, I'd be happy. But 1% of the world will take over the world.
Take it
But
over.
yeah, that gets in a whole other bucket of worms where we got to look at different cultures, customs, being able to still be able to have people be comfortable with what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But we cross that bridge when we come to it, and it'll be a blast.
Yeah. And you'll get there. You'll get there.
Oh yeah, I just it'll be cool.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't get there, my whoever is in charge of my market in 5, 10, 20 years, they'll get there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. See, pretty soon everything's gonna. I've seen these things where it's like it's a little wristband, and all you gotta do is tap your wrist, and the screen just pops up on the wrist, and it's like
Oh,
it'll show up like that too. You know what I mean?
it'll be. I don't know what they're gonna. Memory's a memory. How you view the memory
Mm-hmm.
or record the memory is going to change, but a memory is
Mm-hmm.
still a memory.
Wouldn't that be cool if my art kit could like actually tap into the brain memories and pull them out?
Oh, now we're looking at what
Some
was that
some
movie?
God, there's
Oh, what
so
was
many
that?
of them.
They were able to tap into, and you were actually getting a person's
Um,
working memory. I don't know,
Minority
what was that?
Report. No, that was Future. That was Future
No, this is
Memory.
this is even older than that. The big thing about that was they were able to tap into it when somebody was dying, and they were seeing how their body was lifting up and kind of going to heaven type of thing.
Why does that
But
sound so familiar?
I know it's an older one, but
I'm sure as
yeah,
soon as we get off this podcast, we'll be like, "There's the movie."
somebody will sit there. That was this right? Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
you never. I mean, 3D. Maybe implants, which I don't really that I'm not into, but the 3D aspect of being able to maybe record something on your glasses, and then when
Mm-hmm.
you're recording it and you bring it back, you're almost getting a 3D holographic, really nice image of what was going on. You get a better feel of that
Yeah.
emotion and that time frame when you're re-recording it.
Mm-hmm. Is my art kit gonna have some kind of 3D glasses here soon?
I'm still working on the X-ray glasses I got out of the comic book. They don't work. I don't know. I think they might work. I don't know. Been working on it.
Well, hey.
Yeah. Now, well, things I haven't really. I don't like making things because then you got to make it and then you got to
Keep
produce it and ship it.
updating and all this kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah.
The only thing I look at maybe producing in the future is what I call it, a life badge. To where, let's say you go out to a somebody's memorial or a grave site, and you attach a little stainless steel QR code.
Mm-hmm. Oh, walk up, go scan up the QR code and get all those kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, you can sit there and
That's
click
there
on
you
it.
go. There you
Yeah, and,
go.
and you get that person's information. Now, my kids, if they visit grandpa's gravesite or something like that, they really don't get it type of thing. But if you had something like that, you can boom and you can maybe have a gravesite message to give if anybody's ever visiting your
Mm-hmm.
gravesite. First thing that pops up is "You're standing on me."
Yeah. Stop walking over me. I can hear you.
I'm walking over you. Or we have a thing I want to get besides a family tree put together
Mm-hmm.
somehow. I want to make it a little bit different, but I'm still, we get the money, we're going to do a family tree too, incorporated. But I also have a thing called time tag I want to do, is where you could leave a message to your consecutive generations. Let's say they turn 18 or 16 or something like that. You might give them a life talk
Mm-hmm.
or whatever on their birthday when they turn 13 or 16 or 5 years old. You can have it pops up. I got a message from great great grandpa. He's singing me happy birthday. It really freaks me out.
That would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool. I think it would be. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I do miss my grandparents, and I think it'd be cool to get some messages from them every once in a while.
Just some message you can leave, and you leave multiple messages, and every 5 years, every year, whatever, on your birthday, maybe you get that little message where your mother sings you happy birthday or something. There's something that just a little bit different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That'd mean a lot. That'd mean a lot.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
also looked at the concept of people with like post-traumatic stress syndromes and other emotional things like that might be going on. This might be a good outlet to pull some of that problems out of them,
Mm-hmm.
and you can put it away where it's private, where you're not, nobody's can view it, but at least you're getting it out of view. And then maybe when you review it, um, you're seeing yourself having this problem,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that helps on the path of getting better.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just something I got to talk to more psychologists on that and see if there's a way that might help people out.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going through a lot of grief, or if you're having trouble, or just need to hear something from somebody, you can always go back and look at the
Yeah,
memory part of it and be like, okay, this is what he did at this time, and this is what I need to do.
yeah, yeah. Some of those people that overcame the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
You have the struggle of, if somebody's having a really bad day and stuff like that, and then you can remember where you click on the button where somebody came through a war, came through, terrific, horrific things in their life, and they're sitting there smiling and happy, and they're joyful, and they had a great life.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like, we'll get there. We'll get
Oh
there.
yeah, one step at a time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, as far as the entire company and how you see it and your dream, how do you feel about the technology today? And how do you see the technology changing for My Art Kit as well?
Technology for my ARCA will just be, things will be viewed better and easier.
Mm-hmm.
And things will be easier to upload, be easier to view. The technology will be better. I think it'll become cheaper as time goes by.
Those new
Being able
Apple
to,
VR headsets are like $4,000 now.
well, just give it a couple of years. We'll have somebody.
Yeah.
It'll be down to
Selling them.
$29.95 in no
Yeah,
time.
selling them on Facebook for $200.
Yeah, just so the technology will surf that wave as the technology goes. Because
Yeah.
we're going to be using that technology, and people that are right now we're using the technology on the computers, and
Mhm.
10 years from now who knows, it'll be a little holographic thing where we're talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I got two computer screens sitting here, and the camera sitting in front of me. It could just be as, like you said, that little hologram screen, hologram screen.
Yeah,
I'm getting
yeah,
my words all mixed up today.
yeah. So it's technology, even like I said, because we're going to have that big lump of investment capital, kind of like I call it the anchor.
Mm-hmm.
Even dual anchors are really what we're going to have. And if we have to invest in something, because basically we are a cloud service, so we don't have to worry about all these different computers and stuff that we have to upgrade and keep going. Amazon Web Services or whoever we're going to use is going to be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that will look into the very, very future is what we get into what we call cold storage.
So
Where
having it off-site or offline.
It'll be off-site, but it'll be in different locations, or it'll be in locations to where they use. Right now, they have like archival DVD discs
Mm-hmm.
where you can put information on those. You can't overwrite it and you can't erase it, but you're putting information onto a disc that's good for a minimum of 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have these big, huge petabyte machines that basically have thousands upon thousands of people on these machines that you can expand. And that, if power goes out, you're not dealing with magnetic memory. You're dealing with digital DVD memory. But as technology gets better, you might be doing the same thing with some other type of memory, like Star Trek. Remember Star Trek? They had these little bags they called their data memory for their computers. It was almost they were trying to simulate how a brain works.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of fascinating that way. It might be something where you have our little terabytes right now. We think, hey, I got 1 terabyte. That's going to be nothing. I got 10 petabytes right now in mine.
Well, I remember when 1 terabyte first came out, the offline hard drives that you see, they were a couple $100. Now it's like you can get a 3 terabyte little flash drive for $20.
Yeah,
It's insane.
terabyte.
Yeah.
What are you going to put? You got 16,000 zillion things on a terabyte.
Yeah. Yeah. Millions of songs. Millions.
Oh, yeah.
And it went from like tape recorder to little memory stick to iPod to now it's all condensed into one.
It'll all be literally. I think it will all be cloud. All you gotta do is say, well, a lot of the stuff we have backed up right now on your computer on when you're doing stuff all goes to the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have a small little backup DVD disc I use for my, stuff that's on your folders you got and things like that. I always throw it over in there for double safety backup type of thing. But that'll probably go bye where I hope not. I hate to have everything in the cloud.
There are some things I would like to keep. Excuse me, my eye is itching here. There's a few things I would like to not have on in the cloud. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I mean, the biggest safety net we're still ever gonna have is a piece of paper and a pencil.
That's so true.
Yeah.
How many times you're not gonna? That's one of the things I always talk about, getting things lost.
Mm-hmm.
Or because you could have a computer, or you could have your little backup drive or whatever, but it only takes one little accident, and it's like your data isn't.
Yep.
Can't be. I had a person we doing some work with one time. They had a fire. You can remember they had a fire, someplace, whatever it was. But of course, all the hard drives, things like that, were destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like all those memories, boom, gone.
Yeah. Well, my art kit would have saved them.
The good memories.
Yeah.
Save the best with us, and you can keep all the other minutia.
All the ones that you don't want anybody to see.
Well, all the ones where it's like, you ever have that person you're with that goes click, 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 and they take like 100 pictures of the same little thing.
Yeah.
And then they show you every single one when they're going through your phone, or when they're going through their. It's just like, this is so boring.
Mm-hmm.
You could show me 2 pictures and tell me the whole story in 2 pictures, but 50 pictures of the same mountain just doesn't really click.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like, I'd like to think I'm my girlfriend's personal photographer right now, and like I'm standing in one pose, and I'll take 30 pictures in that one thing. Like, just pick the best one you want.
Oh yeah, that's a little different. I used to be a commercial photographer, and when you're.
Oh really? How long did you do that?
Oh, I did it for maybe 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of moved on from there. The old, what do they call it? The old starving artist thing, to where I needed to make money for the family. I really liked it and stuff like that, but I know how it is when you get a model or you're doing something where you're trying to click away, click, and you're trying, all of a sudden you get that one exact shot.
Mm-hmm.
And the photographer you might want to save the other ones for certain purposes, but there's still a 16 zillion of those where the eyes are halfway open or something. You get rid of them. You just no.
Unless you can turn it into a really good meme, then it's money.
Yeah, nowadays they have memes. Back in those days, what was a meme? I don't know.
Yeah, like what's this?
Yeah, we never had memes. We just had Sunday comics.
Yeah, and good jokes.
Far Side.
Yep, Far Side. God, I remember those. Yeah.
Far Side. Opus.
Garfield.
County.
How about Garfield?
Garfield.
Yep.
Garfield. Oh, going back even farther, you had Family Circus, or my favorite was, when I was a kid, was Snoopy Peanuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He did that. He did that for 50 years, and I remember I got his last. It's actually mounted on my wall in the man cave. His last Sunday comic, saying he's retiring. And he actually had passed away the day before that Sunday comic was out.
Really?
Yeah, he did it all the way until he passed away. 50 years. Schultz.
Damn.
Charles Schultz. Yeah, Charles Schultz. Yeah, did Peanuts.
Damn. Passed away the day before it came out.
Day before it came out. Yeah, it was fascinating.
One hell of a retirement.
Well, you got to keep retirement thing. That guy's another story I got to tell you about. They had it keeps me going, where you look at some of the memories we're losing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember back in the 80s, I was an auto mechanic working at a gas station. And there was this old guy named Frank that was working the cash register. And he was a kind of a shorter guy, but he's wheeling around a big oxygen bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And because he's on oxygen, and he was trying to get to 70 years old so he can get his maximum retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, I says, we were shooting a breeze one day, and it was just like, "Would you ever in the military?" I said, "Oh yeah. I was in World War II. Oh, wow, really? What'd you do?" He was a B-17 pilot.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
And it's just like all those stories. It's like, oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I flew over a couple days after Normandy invasion. I was flying such and such and blew in the. Like, oh my gosh, these have been so cool.
Yeah,
Those are the kind of people. Yeah.
that would have been very awesome to have all the old war stories.
War stories and just my dad had a funny story. He was in the Korean War, but he was in the motor pool. He was had bad eye, so they basically put him in a motor pool.
What's a motor
And
pool?
fixing Jeeps and trucks and stuff like
Okay.
that, the motor pool. Yeah. And he was talking about a funny story where he says, "Oh yeah, we they never had refrigeration in Japan back in it was like in 50, 51. They never had refrigeration back there, so we couldn't keep our beer cold. So what we would do, we'd talk to the Air Force and we'd pack up a couple cases of beer with them when they go up, fly their planes around at 30,000 feet for a couple minutes to test things out. When they got back down, we'd pull it out and we'd have cold beer."
That is a genius way to cool down some beer. That is
And of course,
a genius way.
that was after they used all their CO2 extinguishers to try to cool it down. After they got rid of all those, then they started going over to the Air Force, and then the sergeant would always go around saying, "Why is all of our fire extinguishers always empty?"
Well, hey, go take it up with the higher ups, man. We want cold beer.
Yeah.
We want cold beer. So, where can we find you?
Oh, myarkit.com. MYARKIT.com. And just click all around there, see what you like.
Any
you can
social
also go
media
to-
sites?
It's a website. I'm sorry, what?
Any social media sites?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Any Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, just myarkit.
Okay.
With all three of those. You can also go to events, events.myarkit.com, and go over and see our events page.
Okay.
And they both have links to little videos and stuff like that of how you do things and what it can do. And like I said, if you click on it, hit the 30-day free trial, take a test drive.
Okay. I would definitely link that in the show notes for you.
Cool.
And I definitely want to thank you for coming on the podcast again. It was great to hear about my art kit.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
And I hope to have you back sometime.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, have me back. We get the family tree going or something else.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll make it a yearly thing.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Sounds great.
Okay. All right.
You have a good evening, sir.
All right. You take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.